Yo, yo, what up, fam? All right, my friends. Here's the fastest way to lose fat, okay? And this is through my years of experience. This is actually kind of how I live. This is what I teach. This is what I teach in my books, okay? There's a lot of diets out there, okay? I think there's like 18, 20,000, okay? They all have the same thing in common, all right? In order for your body to lose fat, okay, and all these diets somehow, some way do this, okay? And what that is all these diets somehow, some way have a form of calorie restriction, right? Which creates a caloric deficit, okay? The only reason the human body will burn body fat is if it is in a caloric deficit, okay? It's the only way. I don't care how fucking much you train, okay? You can work out for 8 hours a day, but if you don't create a calorie deficit, you are not going to lose a fucking ounce, okay? And this is where most of you guys fuck this shit up. You train, but you eat like a dumbass, and you drink like a dumbass, and you don't pay any attention to your nutrition whatsoever, so you stay fat forever, right? So you're working out more than anybody else, and you still look like you don't fucking work out, okay? Most of you that work out look like you don't work out. In case somebody's never told you that before, it's a fact, okay? Most of you look like you've been sitting on the couch for the past decade. Straight up. Straight up. So, fastest way to lose fat, okay? A lot of ways to create a calorie deficit, okay? But what I have found, which is the easiest for most people to adhere to, and also the fastest, okay, besides just doing a straight low-carb diet, right, forever, that's the fastest way, right? It's just do it like that, right? But I'm a huge fan of carb cycling, okay? So what that means is you have periods of low carbs, right? And then I like to teach it either the 7th or the 14th day, okay? So if you're fat, you go low carb and calorie restriction, calorie deficit for 13 days straight, okay? 13 days. That means you don't get to fucking go out and eat and drink on the weekends. That means you make all your own fucking food. Track your shit, okay? Because you motherfuckers eat a lot fucking more than you think you do. You think like, oh, that's 6 ounces? No, bitch, that was 12. You think that was a cup? No, bitch, that was 3 cups, okay? Look at your body fat, okay? Are you fucking ripped right now? No. What does that tell you? You're overeating all the time, okay? So, look at your results, bitch, okay? That's proof you're overeating, okay? So, let's go back to the carb cycling, okay? It's really simple, okay? So, you have to create a calorie deficit somehow. Something has to come out, okay? But your protein and your fats are vital for your body and your health and every single fucking cell in your body and your metabolism. Carbs are absolutely fucking useless, okay? Useless, all right? You can live without them forever. You don't need them. They're inessential, all right? But you cannot live without protein and fats. You will fucking die, okay? So you have to have those two. So when it comes to calorie restriction, the smartest way of doing it is slash those carbs out. Now, when I'm talking carbs, I'm always referring to vegetables, fruit, potatoes, not fucking bread and pasta and crackers and chips and shit like that, because you should never be eating that shit to begin with, okay? So when I'm speaking carbs, veggies, fruit, potatoes, you know, rice, quinoa, things like that, right? Beans, those are carbs, okay? Fucking vegans. Beans are not proteins, motherfucker. Quinoa is not protein, motherfucker. Stupid vegans. Hate vegans. Anyway, so my point is, fastest way to do this, okay, is low carb, high fat, carb cycling, okay? Fats are not, okay, let me back up, okay? Fats are not the villain. Everything you've ever heard about fats is a fucking lie. It was based off a motherfucking lie paid for by the sugar industry back in like the 60s or 70s, okay? That paid those Harvard scientists to blame fats for heart disease, when in reality, it was sugar and grains, which is sugar to your fucking body, all along, okay? Which has cost millions and millions and actually billions of people worldwide their lives, okay? Because what happened was food companies started taking fats out of the food, started pumping in sugar, boof, obesity epidemic worldwide, okay? So fats are vital for your health, and so is protein, okay? So you want to always keep those at a great level, right? So I recommend for your protein levels to always be about 35% of your calories, okay, on average, okay? Your fats, 40, 45, 50-ish, okay, of your calories should be fats. You need them. Every fucking cell in your body needs this shit, okay? So, let's back up. So how do you do this? So basically all you do is you have a period of low carbs, right, which is basically just protein and vegetables, and you're going to get a lot of fats from your protein sources, okay? So when I say protein and vegetables, it basically includes your fats, because your fats are going to come out of a lot of your proteins, right? Like, for example, like I eat about a pound of ground beef every day. That's where I get the majority of my fats. It's from ground beef, right? So anyway, here's how you do low carb, okay? Protein and vegetables, okay? But you still have to track your shit. This is where people fuck up, because remember, like I told you in the beginning, you have to create a calorie deficit, right? If you aren't tracking your food, most of you motherfuckers that are trying to do keto, okay, you could try and do like a keto diet, which is just like a really high fat diet, and it's lower to moderate protein, right? So the typical keto is about 70% fat, right? Keto's fine, right? It's not really one that I really endorse, but if you want to do it, cool, do your thing. But here's where most people fuck it up. They don't track their calories, right? So you're doing keto, eating fucking pound of bacon, pound of cheese, and all this fucking meat, right? Your calories are astronomical, which is why most people who do keto don't even do it right, and they actually get fatter. Fatter! How the fuck you gonna get fat on a low-carb diet? Because you're doing it wrong, all right? It's always about calories. What did I say? It's always about calories. But you gotta have your macros in check. You need to make sure you're getting an adequate amount of protein and an adequate amount of fats in your diet, right? And you can do this, like a lot of bodybuilders and physique competitors still do this really old school shit, right? Where they'll do like a low fat diet, higher carb, and high protein diet, right? But their fats are slashed to where they're doing like 10% of their calories, right? All they're eating is like chicken breasts and fucking this really lean shit. What happens to them after every show? What happens? They get fat! Why? Because they wrecked their fucking health by eating this low-fat diet, right? They felt fucking awful the entire time because their fats were so low, right? And damaged their fucking metabolism, damaged their brain, right? Because your brain needs fats in order for it to function optimally, right? And they damage all this shit, and then what happens is after the show they fucking binge like dumbasses, because on top of that, you know, on the day of the show they start fucking carb loading with all this fucking stupid shit like sugar and stuff, right? Which ignites the whole addiction, and they can't stop after that point. So most people, after they do a physique competition, will gain like 20 pounds in a week. No joke. It's crazy. And then they get all fat, and then they repeat that cycle over and over again. So they're like, oh fuck, I'm fat, I need to do another show. Then they go get lean again. Then they repeat the same exact fucking cycle, and they end up getting fat again, and they never actually live lean, right? The smart ones do it right? So anyway, so my point is, so low carb, high fat. So let me give you an example of what your week would look like, okay? If you want to lose fat really fast and keep your sanity, okay? Because, you know, I know you guys want to go out to dinner with friends and hang out with friends. I get it. I do the same shit, right? Here's how you do it the smart way, okay? You stay low carb all fucking week, okay? So if you're really fat, this means 13 days a week for you, okay? You don't get to hang out with your friends, except for every other weekend, okay? Because you fat, okay? You got to wait till you get leaner. So, but if you're on the leaner side, right, you would do 6 and 1, okay? So what that means is, so you're going to go 6 days low, right? So all you're doing is just vegetables for your carbs. That's it. Nothing else, okay? And when I'm talking vegetables, I'm talking like fucking spinach, broccoli, right? And don't be eating that shit raw. That's gross, okay? I don't even do that shit, okay? Steam your shit, all right? Steam it, salt, pepper, garlic powder, right? Make your shit taste good, right? I don't believe in that whole fucking eating that shit all fucking, no, don't do that, okay? Don't do that, right? Steam your shit. They taste better. It brings the flavor out, right? So what I actually like to do, here's a little trick too for you guys. I like to cook my stuff on the stove, right? Sometimes I'll barbecue, but I like to cook my stuff on the stove. But let's say I'm gonna eat some ground turkey, right? And I wanna eat some turkey and broccoli. I'll put it all, right? I'll put it all in the fucking, in the pan, right? In the pan, cover it, and cook it all together. So the flavoring of the turkey actually gets on top of the broccoli, right? Gives it some more flavor on top of, you know, I've already seasoned it and everything too, right? It's just a little trick. But anyway, here's how you do it. You go 6 days low, right? Keeping your calories in check, prioritizing your protein and your fats, right? And then you're basically just doing like, you know, pound and a half, 2 pounds of, you know, broccoli a day, right? Or less. And just your proteins, right? So you do low carb for 6 days. And then on that 7th day, that would be the day which is what you do, which is known for it's your high carb day, right? But it still also has limits. Your calories always have limits. Do you hear what I said? Every fucking day has a limit. And when you hit that limit, you're fucking done. You're done. I don't care if it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Cry your fucking ass to sleep. Okay? So anyway, high carb day. Now here's what I recommend. And I always say, if you're going to eat, don't drink. If you're going to drink, don't eat. Okay? You have to make a choice. On your high carb day, you're either going to eat food, which means this is the day where you get to have some potatoes, some rice, maybe some fruit, maybe some things like that with your protein, right? And your vegetables. Still eating your vegetables, right? So you're either going to choose to eat food or you're going to choose to drink. Okay? A lot of you guys like to drink every weekend. Okay? I get it. Right? So you have to trade. It's one or the other. You don't get both. So if you're going to be drinking, you get no carbs that day. Still. Because you're going to get a lot of it from your fucking alcohol. Okay? Especially if you're drinking wine and shit. Right? So if you're going to eat, you don't get to drink. Okay? And if you're going to drink, you don't get to eat. Choose. You got to choose. Being fit is a fucking lifelong discipline. Okay? You don't get to have your cake and eat it too. Alright? It's either you get to have your cake and be fat, or you get to don't have cake and be sexy. Look delicious, right? Or eat delicious. You make your choice. Okay? So, anyway. So, that's how you basically do it. So, you go low carb. And there's lots of ways of doing this, but I just like to do it this way because it's the easiest to understand. Because you can do it to where you have like a moderate day this way, but it's too complicated for people. Okay, it's just easier just to go low, and then have a high. But your high still has limits, like I said. Your calories still have limits, right? So let me give you an example. So on a day, let's say I'm really serious about getting shredded, right? So I would do say 2,100 calories a day, right? We're doing like 30 grams of carbs or less. Usually when I'm serious, I won't even eat vegetables, okay? I'm like going as low as possible. All I do is just supplement some psyllium husk and get some fiber in my diet so that way my gut and digestion stays on point. But I literally won't even eat vegetables, okay? So low carbs, right? So I'd be 2,100 a day, just basically protein and fats, right? And I'd be taking some psyllium husk to get some fiber in, right? But you can do some vegetables. It's up to you. And then on that 7th day, then I would take my calories up to, and depending on how hard I work, right? I've been doing this a long time, so I kind of know what I can do. Plus, you know, I track my calories and everything too to kind of get an estimate where I'm at. But on my high day, I would do like say 3,200, right? So I'd eat pretty much the same stuff, but then I would throw in some sweet potato, some fruit, right? Some things like that on top of it. And then once I hit that 3,200, I'm done, right? And I would have, you know, 300-400 grams of carbs, depending on what I'm eating, right? And then that would be my high day, right? Then the next day, I go right back to the lows again. No carbs at all, right? That's how you do it. It's really simple. So it just requires daily discipline. And I recommend, even when you get in shape, living like this. Always. Always. Because it gives you room to socialize, right? So if you're always low, right? If your carbs are always low during the week, on the weekend when you go socialize with friends, it makes room for you to have some wine with friends, have some drinks with friends, you know, go to dinner and actually order like a steak and a baked potato, right? It makes room for those things, right? If you're always keeping your carbs in check, right? And it always, and it makes you look leaner too, because the more carbs that you consume, in case you guys didn't know this, when you consume carbs, it pulls in with it 3 to 4 grams of water, right? So let's say you go eat 100 grams of carbs, right? Of, you know, potatoes or fruit or whatever, right? And your body's going to pull in 3 to 4 grams of water with every single one of those. So you're going to be pulling in another 300, 400 grams of water, right? Which is going to make you way more. It's also going to make you look a little softer, right? And it's going to make you, you know, not look as tight, not as lean, right? But if you always keep your carbs low, it'll keep you tighter all the time, and you'll always weigh less, right? And the other thing too is it also will make you, it'll keep your body in more of a fat adapted state, because what happens is a lot of you guys, your bodies are basically sugar burners. You're used to of running off carbs all the time, so it's not as good at breaking down body fat, right? Which is why oftentimes when you guys start cutting out your carbs for the first week or two, you're like lower on energy, or you're just not like, you're not lifting as much, you're a little weaker, right? It's because your body's not as good at being more in a fat adapted state, because you're basically a sugar burner, right? You've been overfeeding it carbs for your entire fucking life, right? But once it switches over, you'll actually start to feel really, really good, okay? So I actually tend to, when I'm like doing really, really low carb, like when I'm really serious, I tend to actually set a lot of PRs, like with my fucking fitness, with my lifting, with everything, whenever I'm actually doing low carb. I actually tend to perform better, right? So, anyway, so that's the fastest way to lose fat, okay? Low carb, moderate fat, carb cycling, okay? That's why I say I recommend you guys just live that way. Keep your carbs low all week long. Make some room for you to have some wine with some friends on the weekend, okay? You do that, you'll be able to stay in shape, right? It's not that hard. So, but yeah, you guys still got to work out every damn day. It's never, like, a lot of these things, like, for me, it's so normal that I shouldn't even, like, I feel like I shouldn't even have to say it, because it's just something that you should be doing. If you, like, cared about yourself, like, it's like a given. Like, you'd be putting the best quality foods in your body. You'd be working out every day. Like, these are, like, you should already be doing this shit. I shouldn't even have to say it. But the fastest way to lose fat, low carb, okay? Carb cycling, okay? Make sure you're getting at least 40% of your, 45, 50% actually, of your calories from your fats, right? So that's how it's done. That's the easy way. And you can try all these other fucking ways. Like I was saying earlier, everybody's like always trying, like, I want to do keto. Okay, cool. Still got to track your calories. I'm going to do paleo. Okay, cool. Still got to track your calories. There's no way around it, guys. There's no way around it. If you want the body, you got to track your shit. You have to. If you don't, then you don't get to look the way you want. You just don't. So you're going to go work out for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours every day, and you're going to look the same. I see it all the time. Like, you go to any corporate gym, and you go look at all the people who are there longer than me, before me, after me, right? Sometimes twice a day. And they look like shit. They look like they've never lifted a weight in their life. They look like they've never dieted a day in their life. They look like shit. They're literally clinically obese. Okay? Most of you are clinically obese. Okay? I tell you guys all the time, the average American in like, they say that it's like, you know, the obesity is like, I think they say like 42%, like, or something like that, but they're basing that off BMI, which is your body mass index, which means it's just a height-weight ratio, okay? My height and weight ratio, I'm actually overweight, okay? Because I'm supposed to be like 120 at my height. I'm like 153, okay? I'm considered overweight. So the BMI is inaccurate. If we actually did body fat testing of the average Americans, it would be like 95% are clinically obese, okay? I had 3 girls that just started yesterday. 3 average-looking women, all 3 clinically obese, okay? Swallow that. I see this shit on a daily basis. So it's completely the norm. And I live in an area where people are lighter, they are fitter, they are more health conscious, right? And still, the average person I see is clinically obese, right? Which is over 32% for women and over 25% for men. The average dude I see is like 28%, right? So 3% over, right? The average female I see is 34, 35%. 3% over. And these are people who aren't even that heavy. They're average looking people, right? So, trust me, you fat, and you much fatter than you fucking think you are, okay? So, anyway, that's my tricks. That's how you do it. So if you're on the leaner side, right, 6 and 1, okay? If you're fat, 13 and 1, okay? So you go 6 days doing just vegetables, right, or none at all. Okay, 30 grams of carbs a day or less. Track your shit. And then 1 day to refeed, and then you're right back to business. If you're fat, 13 low, and then 1 high, right? Remember, everything still has limits, and then right back to business. If you live like that, it makes things so much easier. Like I said, it requires fucking discipline. You got to discipline yourself, because you're going to be surrounded by junk food and shit every single day for the rest of your life. Nothing's going to change. Okay? Everywhere you go, there's going to be cake, donuts, pizza, all kinds of bullshit, chips, bread. Everywhere you go. It ain't going to change. Okay? You guys got to adopt the mindset, I don't eat that. I don't eat that. Okay? If you've ever been out with me anywhere, you've heard me say this. Because I say it all the time. Right? Go to a restaurant with some friends, you know? Hey, do you want blah, blah, blah? No, thank you. I don't eat that. Right? It's just flies right out of my mouth. I don't even have to think about it, because I don't ever eat that shit, like ever. Like, if you guys understood what this stuff is doing to your body, you would never ingest it, right? Would you? I mean, literally, like, would you guys? It's kind of like, I like to think of it like when you eat bread, pasta, cereal, sugar. It's kind of like I imagine it like if you're just like if somebody sprinkled some rat poison in your food and you're eating it by choice. You're like, oh, thank you for the rat poison. Yeah, that's delicious. I'm going to eat that. Because that's literally what's going on the inside of your body. It's literally poisoning you. Literally destroying you from the inside. And that destruction lasts much longer than those few seconds of pleasure that you're going to get from it. It will last you weeks. Right? And a lot of you guys don't get it because you eat this shit on a daily basis. And you try to attribute what you feel like as your age. It's not because you're fucking old. It's because you're unhealthy. Because you eat trash. You eat poison on a daily basis, so your body's fucked up inside. Okay? If you don't feel energetic like a 5-year-old fucking child 24/7, you're fucked. Okay? You are fucked on the inside. Guys, if you don't wake up with fucking rock solid morning wood every day, you're fucked. Okay? That means you have heart problems setting in. Okay? That means you got blood sugar issues. That means you got problems. You got testosterone issues. Okay? You should be busting out of your pants in the morning every single day. If you don't, that's a warning sign. You're fucked up. Okay? So, if your sex drive is not high, you're fucked up. Okay? That means your hormones are fucked up, and it's because of what you're eating. All right? So, anyway, that's the tricks. I'm kind of getting off track here, but you know, I can talk forever, so you know, it always goes a lot of places. But my point is, eat clean, right? Do low carb. Make sure you get your protein and fats, because those are vital for your health. Okay? So, and discipline yourself. Fitness is all about being disciplined daily. Everything's got limits. Okay? The less you eat, the less you weigh. It's really that simple. Fat loss is simple, guys. Burn calories every day, restrict your calories every day. That's it. It's really that easy. It really is. And it makes it much easier whenever you actually keep your diets clean. It really does. The easiest way to stay on point is to never, ever, ever eat anything that is not clean. Right? Never do a cheat meal. Never eat anything processed. Because if you do, it's going to trigger cravings, right? Do you know how hard it is to stay on point when you're craving like shit? It's fucking horrible. That sucks. But you guys are doing this all the time. Like, oh God, it's my cheat. It's my treat, right? Now you got cravings for at least the next fucking 3 days that you're going to have to fight through. And most of you guys don't have the discipline to stop. So, you got it. The easiest way is to keep your diet permanently clean. Because then you don't have to worry about those cravings. Because here's the reality too. Anytime you consume any carbs, healthy ones, okay, especially, okay, but I mean the sugary shit, like the bad stuff's 10 times worse. But even whenever you eat fruit, you eat potatoes and things like that, you're always going to get a dopamine high from it, right? And which is little happy feelings, which is going to make you feel good. That's why you like these foods, right? You're chasing the high. So, but even when you eat healthy ones, you get this little dopamine high, right? And what happens is anytime you even eat the healthy ones, even on your high carb days, right? When you do your high carb days, you're going to have cravings the next day. You are. It's completely normal. But it'll be a fraction as bad as if you ate some stupid shit, right? If your ass ate some fucking pancakes or some waffles or, dessert, your cravings are going to be way worse, okay? But anytime you consume carbs, it's always going to trigger cravings. Always. Always, always, always. Which is another reason why I have found that by living the low carb lifestyle during the week is always best. Because if you're eating even just a fucking apple or even just like, some berries and stuff, it's still going to trigger cravings and make you want a lot more. So it makes it to where it's going to be much more difficult for you to actually stop. But if you're doing straight low carb, no carb, right, during the week, and you're not spiking that little your dopamine and your insulin levels, right, you don't have to worry about those cravings. So just little hacks for you there, guys. Just some little hacks. There's a reason I've been doing this shit a long fucking time, man. Long time, man. I've been fucking training since 2004. So where are we at right now? 16 years? Long fucking time. And what I found is the easiest way for the majority of people to stick to their nutrition is by doing exactly what I'm saying. Low carb, high carb. Low carb, high carb. So that way you guys can actually keep your bodies in check, keep your cravings in check, still be able to socialize with friends, and do it the smart way and get away with it. Okay? So what's the smart way when you hang out with your friends? Okay? Same thing. Protein, vegetables. If you're going to be drinking with your friends, okay, remember, no carbs on those days. You're basically getting your carbs from like your wine. And that's the other thing too. When you're drinking, drink low calorie shit. Okay? The lowest calorie, lowest carb shit. So straight liquor, wines, things like that, and not the sugary ass wines, right? So, red wine is fine. I like to stick to Chardonnay and Pinot Grigio because those tend to have a lot of alcohol and lower carbs. So you end up drinking less. But remember, on your high carb day, it's more about the calories on that day than anything. So what happens is alcohol has a lot of calories. So that's why I say you make a choice. Because even if you're drinking just straight liquor, right? Just straight tequila or vodka, she has a lot of calories, right? So even if you cut out all that stuff and you just eat protein and vegetables that day, and then you just drink tequila, you're going to get 500, 1,000 calories just from your fucking vodka or tequila, right? Which is going to hit your fucking calorie limit, right? So that's why I tell you, if you're going to eat, don't drink, and if you're going to drink, don't eat. Because the alcohol is going to make up make up those calories. And where a lot of people go wrong whenever they socialize is they eat all the stupid shit, they eat all the wrong shit, the bread, the chips, the pasta, the bullshit, then they drink margaritas and fucking strawberry daiquiris and fucking all this stupid high calorie, high sugar stuff, right? And then what ends up happening is they not only ate 3,000 calories just at that event, right? And then ate a bunch of sugary shit, which made them have more cravings. They end up hitting up fucking Del Taco on the way home, getting another fucking 1,500 calories, right? And then before you know it, that whole day, they've had 5, 6, 7, 8, 10,000 calories, right? Then the next morning, they got cravings so bad, they end up going to fucking Pancake House in the morning and eating a bunch more bullshit, right? Then on Monday, they show up fat as fuck, right? The shit I'm teaching you is how you should live, okay? If you follow these directions, okay? 16 years experience, people. Been doing this shit a long fucking time. If you follow these instructions, you will be able to be a sexy motherfucker year-round. If you don't, you will be a fat motherfucker year-round. Okay? Your choice. You don't get to bitch, though. You don't get to bitch because you created it. Being fat is a choice. So is being fit. Okay? So anyways, there's your lessons for today. I'm done here. So you guys have a wonderful day. And cut your carbs out. Okay? Low carbs, motherfuckers. See you later.